On October 2nd, 1948, Osborne and Dorothy Kosberg welcomed a son they named Thomas Gordon. He and his 5 siblings, 2 sisters and 3 brothers, helped make the Kosberg family happy and complete. The kids, Barry, Mary Ann, Gail, Vincent, Osborne Jr., and Thomas, were known to be very helpful and close amongst their Vancouver, British Columbia neighbors. Thomas was the oldest of the kids and had a history of running away from home and generally defying any source of perceived control over him. He was once sent to a home for troubled boys run by Central City Mission, where he reportedly got along well with everyone, but had a habit of running away from there as well. He started receiving help for his mental illness in 1961. In January of 1964, Thomas was admitted to the Crease Clinic, a mental institution that is part of the Riverview Hospital, a mental health facility which closed in 2012. He was discharged the following May. According to the clinic's superintendent, Thomas had typical emotional disturbance and a personality problem that was expected in many teenagers of his age. He also said there was no indication that his condition would lead to a breakdown or manifestation of violence at some future date. After nearly a year without seeking treatment, Thomas requested an appointment with Dr. Bennett Wong in December of 1965. Dr. Wong had previously treated Thomas for nearly 6 months. A message had been left of a confirmation for his appointment on December 15th. Sadly, Thomas never got the message. On December 9th, Florence, a friend of Dorothy Kosberg's, stopped by for a visit and to bring a gift of a bottle of chocolate syrup. Dorothy, Florence, and the kids watched television while Thomas voluntarily made chocolate milkshakes for everyone. Osborne Kosberg worked the night shift at Allied Heat and Fuel Company as a truck driver and would be home around 1 a.m. While making the milkshakes, Thomas laced them with sleeping pills that he had purchased the day before. Everyone became quite sleepy. Florence had even fallen asleep, but woke about 11 p.m. and was able to take a taxi home. Osborne came home and had his milkshake that had been saved for him before turning in for bed. Around 4 in the early hours of December 10th, Thomas snuck into the basement and retrieved a double-bit axe. One by one, he struck each of his siblings in the head multiple times, except for 6-month-old Osborne Jr. It was suspected that Thomas tried to smother him unsuccessfully. He moved on to his parents' room, both asleep in bed, and proceeded to attack them too. According to the pathologist, none of the victims died instantly. In fact, when police arrived, 13-year-old Mary Ann was still alive. She was rushed to the hospital and underwent emergency surgery, but ultimately succumbed to her injuries on December 19th. Thomas changed his clothes and took off in his father's car. After running into a power pole, he walked back to his house and called Robert Estegard, his youth supervisor during his stay at Central City Mission when he was younger. After stating, "I guess you know they're all dead," and that his brothers and sisters wouldn't have worries anymore now, Estegard was unsure whether to call the police or take Thomas to see Dr. Wong. He chose to drive him to the doctor's home. Arriving at 7 a.m., Thomas said that he had done something awful. After speaking for a while, Dr. Wong called the police at 7:45 a.m. I will say, some reports have Thomas driving himself to Dr. Wong's house and not calling Mr. Estegard, though that seems unlikely for him to have known the doctor's home address. Thomas was soon arrested. He briefly appeared in juvenile court, where he was charged with 5 counts of juvenile delinquency in connection with capital murder, and was declared mentally ill and committed to the Riverview Mental Hospital. Thomas Kosberg pled not guilty during his trial in 1967, though admitted to drugging his family and attacking them with the axe. Police did find a mostly empty pill bottle at the scene. Psychiatrist Dr. Joseph Thomas testified at trial that Kosberg was capable of carrying out a complex and deliberate plan, but was incapable at discerning right from wrong. It was his opinion that Thomas suffered a schizophrenic reaction and that his mental state was uncontrollable on the night of the murders. The trial only lasted a couple of hours, and on February 16, 1967, Thomas was found not guilty by reason of insanity by the Vancouver Supreme Court and sent back to Riverview Mental Hospital until his partial or complete recovery. Baby Osborne Jr. was sent to live with his paternal grandmother, Anna Kosberg. Thomas stayed at Riverside until September of 1977, when he was deemed to pose no danger to society. The provincial cabinet placed conditions on his release of living in an approved place in British Columbia and reporting at least once a week to an appointed official. He also could not possess any firearms and may be ordered back to Riverview at any time at the discretion of the board. Thomas Kosberg ended up working for the Vancouver Children's Hospital for over 30 years and married to his wife Maggie till her death in 2014. Thomas passed away January 1st, 2016. Thank you for watching Justice Calls. Are you listening?